Get it? I have complete control. So, well, there we have it. I see you. Well, hello there. All right. Well, we might as well pull this down. Some people are here now. Bing. Perfect. All right. I'm looking over there. Can you tell? All right. We're beginning. Let us know in the comments if the audio needs to come up or down, because it's hard for us to tell. It's Stretch. No, it's not.
Hey, Stretch.
Stretch. We miss you, Stretch.
That's fun.
Hello from Germany. Nice.
Oh my goodness.
Audio's good for me. That sounds great. Stretch. What have you been up to, man? It's great. I miss Stretch.
Nathan talks about you often. It's 7:00 p.m. there now.
Oh, perfect. So it's a good time for us to do this. All right. Well, we're going to jump right in because a lot of times we'll probably end up running out of time. So do you want to read questions?
Sure.
You're the question reader until we get some.
From John Dean. John Dean?
John Dean, yeah. Can you read my writing?
Yeah. I just thought it was... Isn't there a famous person named...
I don't know famous people.
Something Dean. Anyway. John Dean. Could you talk about hikes, both short and long, that you and Sharon might be thinking about in the next year?
Yes, we can. Oh, we also had another question, too. We'll get to that later. As for right now, with the baby coming, we're not planning a lot of long hikes, but we do have a couple things fun in mind. If you guys aren't aware, they're doing like a challenge on the North Country Trail.
Yeah.
You want to talk a little bit more about that?
So, because it's like the 100th anniversary of the National Parks Association or something like that, the North Country Trail is having a challenge for people to go hike 100 miles on the North Country Trail. It can be, 1 mile 100 times throughout the year. It can be a 100-mile stretch. It can be, it could be 17 days long. It can be 1 day if you could really hike 100 miles in 1 day. So we're going to do that. We probably, obviously, won't do it all at once. No, we're not.
We are, because we're back up over here. It's just taking a second. I apologize. We are having trouble. I spent all morning working with this stream, trying to get things to work right, and it seems like we're still having some difficulties. So if the stream's cutting out, I apologize. We're working on it and trying to figure out what's going wrong. But as far as the 100 miles on the North Country Trail, that is a planned hike. We will be doing videos on that. I think it's going to be exciting, and I think that everybody should try it. Anybody that's close enough to the North Country Trail to jump on and get your 100 miles in, that's going to be a fun thing for people to do this coming year.
And I really think that, anyone who's close enough, that includes Stretch.
Yeah, Stretch, you're close enough. Just, hop on a quick plane from Israel and come on over and hike your, hike your 100 miles, and you can tick that off of your list of things to do. Yeah. Also, we have, what other hikes do we have? Oh, we've got our hikes. We started doing our hiking with doing high peaks in the Adirondacks. So we plan on continuing that, and if we can this year with a baby, we're not sure. We're going to try to tick off some more of the 46 high peaks in the Adirondack Mountains. We've got 13 right now, so we may try to get there for a little while, or for maybe a weekend or so, and get a couple more of the high peaks ticked off. What other one did we have written down?
Well, you have an adventure coming up.
Oh, yeah. Starting April 2016, I'm going to jump on the Conarock. The Conarock Trail Crew for a week and do some trail work on the AT. Since the thru hike, or at least halfway through the thru hike, I was into wanting to give back. You notice between parts of the trail that are maintained and parts that are not, and with blowdowns and stuff, how important it is for the trail work and stuff. So the moment I got back, I tried to get in touch. Sharon actually got me linked up with a group to do some trail work. So in April, I'm going to do that. And I'm also going to be doing videos on that to show people how you can get out there and volunteer and what you actually do on a trail crew and that kind of thing. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And as far as little challenges I want to do in this next coming year, I'd like to jump back on the AT and do the 4-state challenge. We didn't get a chance to do that on our through hike because of just the way it worked out.
Well, we just chose not to.
Chose not to, and because you go by Harper's Ferry and then have to come back. But I would like to try that. I think it would be fun.
And
Also,
for those of you who don't know, the 4-state challenge is leaving Virginia, hiking through West Virginia, through Maryland, and getting to Pennsylvania in a 24-hour period.
Stretch says he's coming right over. We'll see you in like a day, Stretch. But yeah.
You can fly into Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm. It's great here.
But only for the next month or so.
There's lots of mountains. Not. Also, when we went through Mahoosuc Notch, Mahoosuc Notch, the hardest mile on the AT, it was Lucky, Sharon, and I, and we went pretty slow through there and kind of helped Lucky through. And the whole time you did pretty good. The whole time I kept telling myself that I could do this really fast. So I've always wanted to challenge myself to see how fast I could actually get through the notch. So I've got this idea of going up there for a weekend and like scouting out a perfect path through it and recording it and seeing how fast I can actually get through the notch. So that's a plan. I don't know if it'll happen, how soon it'll happen, but that's a plan for something I'd like to do. And then also the long trail at some point in time. And then Lucky and I have been talking about John Muir Trail 2017. So, yeah.
Anyway.
We have to convince her.
We have a live question.
All right. What is it? You're looking. You're a question
Did he say
reader.
they are with baby?
We said we are with baby. Sharon is with baby. Baby. So, yeah, actually, and due date is March 28th. So, baby soon, baby. Ooh.
Yeah, 8 weeks left.
Which is awesome. We stopped. Sharon was the one that I had to. Well, I didn't have to convince you, but you went on my adventure. The AT was my adventure. I'd always wanted to do it, and Sharon came on my adventure. And after the AT. When we were getting done, it was Sharon's turn to choose her adventure, and
I chose a baby.
She chose baby. So that's the next adventure, and it's
not that Nathan didn't have any say in it, though.
Right. I wanted a baby too. So.
Okay.
All right. On to.
Congrats on the baby. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyway, Stretch wants to know when we're going to be putting the summit video up.
Okay, for you, Stretch, we are in the Two Katahdin series. It's going slow because I really enjoy going back through footage, just to reconnect with the trail. It's a lot of fun. Not as slow as Sharon's blog is going. I am beating her, but that's the reason why it's coming kind of slow.
I'm actually going to school for 12 to 14 hours a day, though.
Doctor. But so the plan is to kind of keep going out with the videos. We are just getting into New Hampshire with the videos in the White Mountains. I would think there's probably going to be another 6 videos or so, I think, and add a video every week or 2. So another couple months. Maybe by the time the baby's here, we'll be ready for the summit of Katahdin. I've got a lot of cool video ideas. And I don't want to rush things and just put them out there because I put kind of a lot of time into those videos. So I don't want to rush into it too much. So there's the answer to that one.
Yes.
We have
Up Trail 71 says, I liked your snow video last week. Congrats on the baby.
Thank you. The snow video was actually Sharon's idea.
I'm a genius.
Yeah, totally. She just wanted to go out and just walk through the city because the city just didn't know how to respond to all the snow.
I mean, like there weren't even any taxis running. I mean, the city really kind of shuts down when they get more than a flurry.
And it was like 2 days later before they even started to like scoop the snow up, load it in trucks, and take it out of the city. So it took them quite a while to get to that. I can see myself over here, and it's driving me crazy. Okay, that's better. So yeah, the snow video was fun.
Yeah.
I liked it. We have Baker Skater says, "How did that happen?" I'm guessing the baby.
It's Mr. Baker Skates.
Oh.
Mr. Baker Skates.
I say what I want to read.
And then he said, "Congrats."
Oh, nice. Yeah, the baby happened just the normal way babies happen. It wasn't like virgin birth baby.
All right. Next on the list.
Well, how about the one that was earlier today? I wanted to talk about it because there's a lot of people. Did I write it down? The one about the
advice.
Yeah, the advice on the trail.
We didn't write it down, but we got I think it was on Facebook.
No, it was actually on here. We did a test stream and we had a question.
Right.
And it was, I can't remember who it was from.
It was from someone with the last name that started with an L. Or maybe D.
You know who you are, maybe. But the question was, what would be your best bit of advice for someone getting ready to do a thru hike? It is coming up. People are going to start leaving from Springer Mountain almost.
People are already on the trail.
Wow. I don't know. There may be some. We were
are.
early. Anyways, so we're talking about like our best bit of advice for these people that are getting ready to leave. Good luck, maybe. But you had one, and then I'll go with mine. What was your?
Well, mine was to say my piece of advice is just to do it. There's a lot of people who think about the trail. Just go out there and do it. That's awesome. But once you're actually on the trail, my like on-trail advice would be just to be flexible. You never know when you're going to pass by a waterfall and just want to sit there and eat your lunch there. Or when you're going to get snowed in and have to stay for 4 days in a cruddy hotel, but you get to stay with new trail friends. So just be flexible and don't get frustrated with that. With us we still had a lot of time that we could have taken the entire month of July, and we finished on July 10th. So I guess we still had 3 weeks technically.
July 12th. Right? We started February 10th. We finished.
Oh my gosh.
Ding! One for the good guy.
Okay, we finished on July 12th. So we had a little bit less than 3 weeks, I guess, remaining. But at that point, we kind of just wanted to get home, and because we wanted to have the wedding and everything before we moved to Philadelphia, we didn't really have those 3 weeks. But in any case, we were kind of pushed for time at the end. Don't give yourself a deadline.
Yep. Be
flexible so that you can enjoy things, or that you don't have to hike 25 miles in the rain. Although I would say you should do that too.
Well, I guess the main part is we see a lot of people and their questions are the main part to get to Maine is everybody is thinking that it's all about planning and it's all about getting ready and research. And yes, there's a lot to be said for planning before the trail and research, but I guess I would say it's more preparing, and people should do less actual planning, because when you hit the trail with these plans that you've made, if you're so set on them, it's going to affect your experience, because you might find out there's a better way to do it. And if you can't be flexible and be willing to change those plans, and you're bullheaded and you stick to your plan, you may end up not having as good a time as you can if you just kind of let things, go with the flow once you get on the trail. So for some people, I always suggest, like, instead of planning out what you're going to do on the trail, try to research and plan how you're going to deal with things on the trail, but make those decisions on the trail. And a good example I use is mail drops. Instead of saying, I'm going to send this to myself here on this date with this much food in it, and that's just the way it's going to be. I'm going to package it. I'm going to put the stamp and everything on it right now. Don't do that. Make it where you can choose on the trail. Have someone. We had my mother at home to package our stuff, and I know that's not an option for everybody, but if you can, that way we were able to look at where we're going to be, when we were going to get there, and send a message saying we want this much of this kind of food, and we had all the food ready. She just needed to package it up, and we need it sent here, which means we were able to make those decisions on the trail and allow ourselves to, I got shin splints, we need to slow it down, and all of those things. If you set everything in motion at the beginning, then you need to stick to that plan, or you can everything can kind of crumble down around you. So that's a great thing to do, and Lucky will be the first one to tell you you need to be flexible. Another thing for me, I think, is
talking a lot.
Yes, the trail can become very mental and very difficult quickly. And one thing that you can do to kind of help from getting down on the trail is to not set yourself up for failure in goals. For example, we're gonna hike 25 miles a day through Virginia, and that's what we're gonna do. And you have that goal in mind, and when it doesn't happen, that failure, whether you can tell or not, can like take your morale down a little bit and kind of hurt you in that way. So by not setting high goals, by setting lower goals or no goals, being able to succeed at them just boosts your spirits.
Or I guess maybe a little bit less specific goals, which is funny because, you know, they say in real life you want to set very specific goals and stuff. But I think, you know, saying we want to hike 100 miles a week, or we want to get through Virginia in 5 weeks, or something like that.
Or
as opposed
100
to saying,
or 80 to 100 miles. So give yourself a little bit of leeway there. A lot of people thrive on pushing, but I think there's a lot of people that, as they stop hitting those goals and they get those failures, it just knocks them down and down until they just like, I can't do this, and quit.
And you just don't want to, I guess, set goals. At some point, your body just physically can't do that. And I mean, that obviously that level is different for every hiker, but you know, at some point someone's not going to be able to hike 25 miles a day. Another person's not going to be able to hike 15 miles every day. Yeah. So, you know, eventually, as bad as it sounds, you will fail.
Mm-hmm. And you're not gonna be able to do exactly what you set out every single day. That's true.
And you just don't want to be out there. You know, that's the only thing you're relying on, the only thing you have in your mind to do every single day, and if you're not accomplishing it, it can be pretty hard.
Yes. So there's flexibility, and set reasonable goals is a good way, or even no goals, and just kind of let things happen, and you'll be happier with it, and there'll be a little bit less mental kind of stress on you. We got a question.
Well, Mr. Irez, well, it's Stretch.
It's Stretch.
Stretch's advice for everyone is just keep it between the blazes.
No.
Which is true.
Oh, I hope he's not leaving. But that is true. Keep it between the blazes. Because
I think that's just his advice. I don't think he's leaving.
Okay, could be. Good.
And Lucky should have used that advice a little more.
He kept it between some blazes on all trails.
Up Trail 71. Did you have a problem with your ankles or knees hiking the AT? Every single day when you wake up, your feet kill.
Yes.
And then once you get into like the northern part of the trail, even before the whites even, but you know, whenever you have these very steep descents, maybe in Massachusetts and then getting into New Hampshire or Vermont, New Hampshire, my knees hurt a lot, especially on the downhill. And then for a month afterwards, going up and down stairs, like in the hospital, my knees just ached and ached and ached, and I thought they would never be better, but eventually it just slowly went away because I just realized the other day my knees don't hurt anymore when I'm running down the stairs. So
yeah, and my 2 cents on that would be ankle wise, I don't think I noticed it as much, but towards the end my ankles started cracking, and I don't know if it was just from the stress, but as far as pain goes, I didn't have a whole lot of ankle pain. Like Sharon said, knee pain, absolutely. Downhills, I cannot stress enough how important it is to take it slow at the beginning, especially on descents. Slow down and keep yourself from, and it's the whole listening to your body, and this can go right back to not setting too hard of goals, because that goal will become more important than what your body says. And if your body says slow down, you're like, no, I said I was going to do 25 miles. Now your body makes you fail, and the whole, you know, it's a downward spiral. But listen to your body, and if your knees start to ache, slow down. Take a day, take a half day or a Nero or something like that, because the pain is definitely going to be there, but if you're listening to your body, you can minimize that by resting when you need to. There is a certain point, and they call it your trail legs, and people, I think it's common for people to believe trail legs makes you invincible and you can walk for miles and never feel any pain. you can walk for miles, but the pain never goes away. I think you just get more accustomed to it and more used to it.
And I think your threshold just gets higher and higher where...
That's another good point.
You used to be feeling that pain after 5 miles. Well, eventually you're going to feel that pain after 10 miles and then maybe after 15 miles. But, you know, eventually your miles are going to cap out at 25 miles a day and you're going to be feeling that pain at 20. So you always feel that pain.
Yeah, and it's not something that goes away, and like Sharon said at the beginning, feet will hurt the entire trail. I'm sure some people are different, but for us, from week 2 till summit day and months afterwards, you go to stand up first thing in the morning and you limp because your feet just hurt.
This is a good question. I like this. I plan to bring a second pair of hiking pants for camp, town, or reserve. Do you have a better idea? So I would say that a second pair of hiking pants isn't bad. We actually both carried 2 pairs of pants, but one was sleep pants. So,
and they were, it's not a second pair of hiking pants.
Right.
No.
So I wouldn't take a second pair of hiking pants. I would want to take a second pair of pants that you can layer with your hiking pants and then wear in town. A lot of people wear their rain gear when they get to town. When we got to town, we would just do... we would do laundry first, and then we could like go around to the stores and stuff with clean clothes on. But eventually, you just kind of, I mean, like, you know, while we're doing laundry, while we're hanging out in the hotel or in the hostel, we're wearing our pajama pants, which we could wear easily underneath our hiking pants whenever it was cold. So we did each have 2 pairs of pants, but they were layering pants and not 2 pairs of hiking pants. And I would say
when it gets warmer, you are going to have or at least we did, you're going to have a pair of shorts as well
right.
that you can switch back and forth. I think it was very important for me to have something that I didn't hike in to be clean to wear while I was sleeping. It helped me sleep. It helps you from being sticky inside your bag. I had a fleece pair of pajama pants that I carried from day one. Because inside of
carry them from day one.
Because inside of your sleeping bag, it gets your sticky, sweaty body from being inside of your sleeping bag.
You didn't carry them from day one.
I didn't?
No, we got them. We got them delivered to us somewhere. Because remember, you started wearing your leggings at night, but you didn't like the way the leggings were so tight.
Yeah, compression pants. I don't know, for guys with hairy legs, compression like Under Armour and stuff like that. For me, was not as comfortable to sleep in. Having something like fleece that you can move in a little bit and also is smooth against your inside of your sleeping bag was really good for me. It worked for me, and I'm sure everybody's going to be a little bit different. But what was the original question? I think we're getting off topic.
Second pair of hiking pants.
I would say no to a second pair of hiking pants. You do not need 2 of nearly anything on the trail. Maybe underwear
and socks.
But other than that, have a second pair of you know, leggings or shorts or whatever, but have them serve a different purpose, whether they be an underlayer that, you know, can do multiple purpose. You can layer it or something like that, but there's no need to have
or an overlayer, rain gear.
Or rain gear,
or
yes.
Shorts.
They need to have a second purpose. There is no reason to take 2 of a pair of hiking pants. If you got a pair of hiking pants that are dual purpose, like they zip off in the legs and something like that, then those, you know, can kind of count as shorts and pants, I guess.
Yeah.
Let us know if that works for an answer. Just throw us if you have another question.
And I would say, like with the pajama pants, the shame level kind of goes down a little bit. So, you know, there were times when we would go shopping in our pajama pants, although we would not really condone that behavior in everyday life. But when you're a hiker hiking the trail and you've got a pair of hiking pants that are muddy in the washing machine and you need to go to the gas station across the street to get a gallon of ice cream, you wear your pajama pants.
Yep. All right, next question.
Speaking of mail drops, are there any places that stand out in your mind where local resupply is not an option and where a mail drop is necessary? By the way, the pant question, he says it was helpful.
Nice. As for mail drops, check Sharon's blog. She did a pretty detailed list of what we did on the trail and includes some of the things that we find maybe helpful, like where you'd want to get a mail drop and stuff. We're looking to do a little bit more of a detailed list along with that and put it on the blog as well, where we may go over like where we did some resupplies, but that's not quite out yet. I can't think. I mean, we could think of a couple right off.
Yeah. So I would definitely send yourself something right before the Smokies in the Fontana Village. There's a a hotel there that will take mail drops. Send yourself something there. When we got there, everything was closed. One, because it was early in the season, but two, because it was in the middle of the week. It's very touristy, so they're only really open on the weekends most of the year. I imagine in the summer they're not, but who's down there in the summer unless you're Sobo? And then another place, Harper's Ferry. There's places to... We resupplied at a gas station, and it was completely awful.
It's very touristy there as well, expensive.
Yeah, and you're going to be going to the ATC headquarters anyway, so they take mail drops. I have no idea why we didn't do that.
It's probably going to try to come back on its own.
Yeah, we're back.
Okay.
Okay, you didn't miss anything because we noticed that the camera turned off. So
I'm sorry, guys. This is being goofy, and I don't know why. Hopefully, everybody's able to kind of jump right back on. And if for some reason it doesn't, I'm gonna cut this video up and I'll post it, and hopefully we can still get to everything. It's too bad that it's not. Like I said, I tried to work with it this morning, and it's just been giving me a hard time. We were talking resupplies.
Yeah. So we said right before the Smokies, Harper's Ferry. If there are places like in New Jersey, I would, to send yourself something that are close to the trail, I would. A lot of the little delis and stuff weren't good for me because I'm cheap.
Yeah, and this is the perspective of penny pinchers as well.
And then I guess
if you've set aside a little bit of money, you're not going to have nearly as much of an issue.
I would say a third main place is right before the Whites too, and I think it's Gorham, New Hampshire. There's a little that's at the end of the way. Glencliff, New Hampshire, maybe. I don't know. There's a little hostel, and they'll take you into town for free. That's where we ate with Lucky, and he stayed at the hostel and we didn't. But the town is just a gas station. So try to get a mail drop there. There is a post office, very limited hours. I don't know if the hostel takes mail drops.
Here's another rule, I think, crucial piece of information. With a good guidebook, these are decisions that you will make on the trail.
Right.
You may decide, yes, I'm going to get a mail drop there, but when you actually get there, your situation is completely different. You're hiking with somebody that's got a mail drop a day ago and he's got too much food and he just gave you a bunch. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. Having these things in mind is great.
Your family might decide to come visit you there or a week before there.
With a guidebook, you can make all of these decisions and make them well on the trail. The guidebook we used had where you can get mail drops. If you have a phone on you, you can call ahead to places, find out who accepts, who doesn't. Southbound hikers, other people you're hiking with, ask questions. I know that the people that are getting ready to go on the trail now are so excited. They're just grabbing at knowledge. The knowledge will come to you while you're hiking too. That's where being flexible is key. This stuff is going to happen, and you're going to make these decisions on the trail. So yeah, get what you can now, but realize that when it comes to this hike, it's gonna be as it comes. Again, I don't know why we're losing the stream. It is making me mad, and it's probably making everybody else mad too. Hopefully, you guys can just stay on the page and it just continues. Would someone let me know if that's working? Let me know if you can just stay on the page and it continues, and you just have like a delay or something. I hope that's the way it is, because right now I don't know why it's doing it and what I can do to make it better, and we're partway into the stream now, so I don't know. Is someone saying
just
okay, so
to go up, there's more questions.
Okay, so we're gonna get right back to questions.
Okay. Has the trail changed your lives in any way? Explain. By the way, I really enjoyed the videos. That's from Burning Beard.
Thank you,
714.
Burning Beard. You wanna go first?
It's funny because I get asked this question a lot because I'm on my residency interviews, and it's really hard to explain. But I think someone shared a quote once with us that explained it really well about something about a puzzle. Do you remember that? It was like
no.
Like before the trail, you're a part of the community and you're just like one piece of the puzzle and everything fits in fine. And then after the trail, you don't fit in. But you're still, I mean, it's not like we don't fit in and like, oh, we're outcasts in the city of Philadelphia just because we did the trail. But it's just like you see things differently. You know, we're walking down the street and someone's sitting on the corner begging for money, and we think to ourselves, well, geez, you could, you know, go out with like with $2, we could have survived for a week on the trail or something like that. So, or people are complaining like us here, our internet keeps cutting out. We're complaining about that, but I mean, we survived for long periods of time without internet or without cell phone service. It's the things we take for granted. Nathan's drinking his second pot of coffee today.
And I wouldn't have been instant coffee. I don't know. That is a question that you will find out on your own. The stream is going bad again. Give me 1 second, guys. I just want to check to see. Wasn't there a way that I was able to check this? Oh, I feel so bad.
Down there, yeah. Stream health.
Stream health.
The stream's bitrate is higher than recommended bitrate.
Okay, so
I recommend that you use bitrate of 750 kilobytes per second.
Okay, guys, I'm changing something real quick. It may go off. Can I do what he says with bitrate?
Max bitrate.
We're going to try that. I made an adjustment, and we'll see if that works. Again, I apologize. The video we'll cut that stuff out. Hopefully this isn't too bad. What question were we on?
We were just talking about how the trail changed us.
Well, okay, here's a good question, or a good example. Ding, ding, ding. There's a ring. That happened on the trail. We have a baby. This is the things that the trails changed. We got married. It sealed the deal between the two of us.
I think it would have happened anyway.
Well, all I know is that the trail for us was a great experience for us to get to know each other, every single part about each other. When you spend that much time, we've had some conversations that most couples probably have never had before. We met an elderly couple on the trail that had been married. They had been married like 30 years before they did a thru hike together, and they said once they finished their thru hike, they had never been closer than in the 30 years they were married before. So the trail definitely has a huge impact on your life. I'm sure it's different for everybody. I know that readjusting to the trail afterwards, for me at the beginning, I didn't really notice what was happening, but I'm going to reset the internet, folks. I'm sorry, I gotta try something. We will be right back. Go live, but it's a thing with YouTube, I think. See, it's not coming back up over here, and eventually we get an error.
Here.
Wait. Please? Receiving your content, please? I think we've done it. I think we're back. I hope so. I hope so. We're going to get right back into it because I think we're back, and I don't want to make you guys wait any longer. Sorry. It's my fault.
Well, I don't get it.
I don't either. That's okay.
Okay.
Back to the questions. Back to the questions.
So has the trail changed our lives? Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna move on from there.
Good day from Canada, eh?
Speaking of Canada, we did get a chance to hike with Red Feather, aka
Claire Hughes.
Claire Hughes, the Olympiad. We didn't know she was
Olympiad.
The Olympian. I think I'm right. But either way, we didn't even know who she was. Really, really awesome person and super, super good hiker.
Did you do any laundry on the trail at all? If not, did you see others using those laundry bags? And what's your opinion? So we had this container that it was actually the bottom of just like an orange juice container. It was just a cylinder that we could dip into like low water sources and stuff like that. We would fill that with water, put some Bonner soap in it, and like kind of squeegee our laundry in that every once in a while. We did not see anyone using those bags, but we personally believe that you can just get a really big like Ziploc bag and make one yourself, and it would be awesome. I
did meet a guy at the rock climbing gym in Philadelphia who hiked the trail last year as well, and I forgot what his trail name was. Oh crap. Something Rabbit, Running Rabbit or something. And it may have just been Rabbit. The stream's going. And he used one of those, and he spoke really highly of it. And I think it would be a good option to have. You're doing the amount of clothes that you have never really merits a full load of laundry anyways. And for the most part, just a good rinse can do a lot. So having something like that you can rinse your laundry out in, I think is a great idea. To do it again, I would carry something like that with some Bonner soap. Absolutely. Like we said, we washed in a little bit of a tub, but I think the bag would be easier.
Should you like do the streaming settings that recommended before, like only 750 kilobytes?
I already did.
Okay, so hopefully the stream continues to work.
We're gonna keep answering questions, keep posting questions, and what we can do is we can answer them the best we can, and at the end we'll have a video for you guys to watch that will have the answers in it. So we'll have that anyways.
Go down.
Going down.
I have to go now. Thanks for the live Q&A.
The second channel.
Channel, Northern. Okay.
Nice.
So,
Northern Survival.
Yeah, check out Northern Survival, everyone.
With Up Trail 71.
This is from Stretch. You are awesome. Like you, Sharon and Nate, very, very much.
Yes, you are awesomes.
You are awesomes. It's a minor delay, keeps lagging.
Okay. I think that we're getting through some of those. That was from a while ago.
How did you meet Sharon? On the trail, or did you know her before the trail?
We knew
each other before.
This is a very fun story. I actually brewed beer for Sharon's sister's.
Sorry, that was a really good face. I saw it in the thing.
Oh, get this out of here. Back home, it's common to have, instead of like bachelorette parties and bachelor parties, we have what they call a stag and drag, and it's for both sides of the marriage or whatever. So when her sister got married, it was to one of my friends. And they had this stag and drag, which is for everybody to come. It's just a party.
It's kind of like a bonfire.
Yeah, it's just a big bonfire or party, and I brewed beer for it. Well, no, I brewed beer for her wedding. Sorry, but either way, I met her.
He doesn't know
because I was really drunk that night.
I was not drunk. There was this guy
Sharon
who my
doesn't
sister
really drink.
Introduced to me. She was, "Oh, you have to meet the brewmaster." I think she was just kind of trying to mess with me and like. Be like, oh, go talk to this guy for 20 minutes. He's drunk, or an hour. So she introduced me to him, and he would not stop talking to me. And he also
I talk a lot.
Did not believe. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to school to be a doctor, and he was like, no, I don't. Like for real. I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to do. This is
a short delay. Welcome back again. Long and short is I must have done something right because at the end of the night. I asked for Sharon's number, and she gave me a real number.
I almost gave him a fake one, though.
And since then, it was, I think I called you a week later.
That was a Saturday, and you called me on a Thursday.
So I gave her a little bit of time, called her, and then, because she was going to school in Philadelphia, we had a very long-distance relationship for a while. And over time, we got closer and closer, and I don't know, how long did we date before we went on the trail?
Well,
year and a half?
Technically, we went on our first date in November. Yeah. And wait, that was 2012. We did the trail in 2015. So 2.5 years.
Okay. So it was a while before we ended up going on the trail. So we knew each other well before the trail. But the trail, even after that, had a huge impact on just us as a couple. Because it's such a very hard thing to do. That it just strengthens any relationship with anybody on the trail. I mean, I'm super disappointed, guys. We're going to see, and it jumps way up higher than it's supposed to.
Yeah, I'm gonna call Comcast about this internet issue, and they're not gonna be excited.
We're gonna raise a ruckus. Sharon, meet on the trail. How did the weather change your day? We were talking about how the other people we met on the trail. So yeah, the trail brings you together. Everybody, whether you met before or not, the trail will make any relationship stronger for sure.
Go up.
All right, we have lots of questions. we're going to get to them as quickly as we can.
How did the weather change your daily perspective of the trail, or did it even matter? You know, looking back, I can almost say it didn't matter much, because there was the one day, my birthday, where we woke up and it was a freak snowstorm, and we just kept hiking. There were days where it just rained. I will say, when it was a lot of like rainy days in a row, that can kind of bring you down, or a lot of really hot days in a row can bring you down because it's zapping your energy. The very last time it rained, we laughed at the sky because we knew it was the very last time the trail was going to rain on us. So maybe
we frolicked through puddles and laughed and screamed into the air, because once you get used to it, once you get used to the trail, and once you get used to the rain and the cold, and you know, once you get used to all of those things, and you break away. Have you ever noticed, like, in your everyday life, when you go outside and it's raining or it's cold, you do this?
You got to hunch your shoulders.
You tensen up.
Just tense up. You don't tensen up. You just tense up.
Sorry, you don't tensen up. But that goes away once you get accustomed to life outside of the norm that you're used to now. It's much easier to deal with, and it no longer plays as big a role. It's you wake up and, oh, it's raining today, and then you hike through the rain. You get used to dealing with it. I
miss that.
I do too. You find your own little ways of you know, drying your shoes out and all of those little things, and all of a sudden it doesn't really play that big of a part, except for at the end when the rain makes the rocks slippery and you're going through the whites and stuff where it's very steep. Then it will slow you down.
Go down.
Okay, no, you learn beforehand.
I will do my prep hikes next summer for the International AT in New Brunswick.
Ooh, nice.
Very nice.
Prep hikes are very good to test gear, and I always tell everybody to definitely get out, and the best way to get is to not be on the computer asking questions, but to get out and do and test. So
everyone leave.
Everyone leave. Get on the trail.
Especially since we keep going out.
Yeah.
Go down. Aside from Lucky's blueberry bagel / salsa nonsense, what was the worst food you or another hiker you met resorted to eating on the trail? This is from Chili con Carne.
All right, you want to know?
That's an awesome question.
The worst food is what, I don't know if everybody is familiar with a guy named Orange Crush. He was the first thru hiker this year.
He started in like March. He finished the trail in like way less than 100 days, I would say. He started the trail in March. He was the very first finisher.
He hiked the PCT right directly afterwards. He is one of those ultralight, only carry the necessities. I'm not here for fun. I'm here, even though he was a really nice guy and looked like he was having fun. Yeah. But just go, 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 go. He wanted to hike 5,000 miles this year, and I'm sure he did. But what he did was he had a mixture of proteins and ramen noodles and oatmeal and nuts.
We met him at Bob Peoples' hostel.
The Concora Hostel.
And Bob Peoples took us all to town. It was a really rainy day. He was going to keep going, but Peoples convinced him to stay. And he got, I don't remember what he got while he was in town, but he was really excited about it because everything he had been eating on the trail, he literally had to force himself to eat. And when you're hiking a lot of miles, you should not have to force yourself to eat anything. You should want to like be shoving food in your face.
And you will.
But everything that he had was just disgusting.
Basically, everything was a paste. Like everything went together into this bowl.
And then he added water
of what he ate, and it had the right amount of carbs and proteins, and he basically had prepared it that way. And also, he prepared a lot beforehand.
Yeah, he was one of those guys that had all of his mail drops pre-addressed, set aside, and all he had to do was tell his mother when to take it to the post office. And then he got a mail drop there. That was what it was. He got a mail drop there. We went into town and he picked up his mail drop, and he bought a bunch of stuff in town and left a bunch of the stuff that he had prepackaged for himself at Bob Peoples' hostel in the hiker box because he was just sick of it. So he had all of that food at home that he had pre-purchased, and this was in the very, very beginning of Virginia.
Yeah. Other than that, you see some kind of weird things. I saw a guy with it was like a raisin tuna fish wrap. You'll see a lot of wraps with strange concoctions in them.
Oh, but we did delicious wraps. We did, because I really like cheese and peanut butter. Like my entire life, it's just a thing. Cheddar cheese and like really sharp cheese and peanut butter. So we would do a peanut butter and cheese wrap, and sometimes throw some raisins on there. I actually liked it better without the raisins.
Yeah.
because cheese and peanut butter.
And for the most part, I don't think anything's super strange because a lot of the stuff that you're getting is stuff that's easy to pack, granola bars, stuff like that. And then going out to eat occasionally in the towns and eating a lot of food. But
I will say I saw people eating weird things when we went to the Ming Garden in Waynesboro.
Sharon is anti anything besides spaghetti. So when we went to the Chinese food restaurant, Ming Gardens, everybody go to Ming Gardens in Waynesboro. It's a must. It's a great Chinese buffet.
It's a great place to avoid.
You walk in and you have to walk over a friggin' koi pond with fish in it on a bridge. It's amazing.
I will say it was neato canito, but I ended up eating chicken nuggets and macaroni and cheese
and a slice of pizza. Why go to an Asian buffet if you're going to get chicken nuggets, macaroni and cheese, and pizza? Enough said.
Because I was forced to.
Okay.
For the JMT, why not the PCT? The length. He's
Timing.
Attached. He has a baby.
He has a baby. Yeah. And I'm not sure I'm going to want, when the baby comes, I'm not sure I'm going to want to be away from the family very long. So the reason why the John Muir Trail is calling me is because Lucky really wants to do it. And I feel like I need to hike with Lucky.
You can come to Stretch.
Yes, you can. Was that from Stretch?
No, it was from our Canadian friend.
Nice.
Who also says, I am hoping to do the PCT in 3 years. Which is why it would be so cool to change your accents to Canadian and have you say A after everything. LOL. Oh, why is it so cool? I don't know. What you're saying, in 3 years. Is why so cool it would be cool to change your... Oh, maybe we should change our... Maybe he's suggesting that we become Canadian,
Maybe A. Or Italian.
Maybe.
A, maybe.
Maybe
No.
A, B, A, B.
Maybe A. Or C. Next question.
Burning Beard. How were the beers and the breweries on the trail? What were your favorites?
Well, I only got a chance to go to one brewery on the trail.
I can think of 2 off the top of my head.
Which 2?
The one in, like, right on the border of Vermont and New Hampshire. In wherever, my gosh, I'm blanking. Where we stayed with Betsy, and it was a college town. And I can't remember the name of the college, even though I almost went there.
We didn't go to a brewery.
We went to that microbrewery, which was, like, really bad. We went to that microbrewery.
Oh, yeah. If you
in
want...
in the town of Dartmouth.
Dartmouth, yeah. If you want to go, there's a brewery there. If you want to go to one that's super expensive and the
Doesn't have good
food... not that the beers weren't good. They were not my favorite.
I remember that he was disappointed.
I was disappointed. We went to the Flying Mouse Brewery, which is in...
Daleville.
Daleville. And that was quite nice. But...
They're just... But then we went to the Kennebec River Brewery, or just the Kennebec Brewery. Not sure which one it is, but that's right after you cross the Kennebec River.
Wow, we did go to more than one.
And you got a flight of beers there.
And I remember I liked that place because that's the one that had this place is awesome. It's got like a hot tub and a pool and showers that you can use, and there's like cornhole pits, and the food's really good and the beer was good. I am not a fruity beer fan, but they had a blueberry wheat that was very good, and actually they give some blueberries right in the beer. I was like, this can't be good, and it wasn't super berry, which I'm not a big fan of anyways, but it just a little hint, which was nice. But the Kennebec Brewery, and if you can schedule to stay there, I mean, with the hot tub and the pool, it's definitely a place to take a zero for sure, because you can stay right at the brewery. There's places that you can rent. So Kennebec Brewery is absolutely surefire.
Listed as Northern Outdoors in the guidebook because it's the brewery on site at Northern Outdoors. And then there's a brewery in Franklin, North Carolina. They used to be at the gear store, but they're not anymore. It's the Lazy Hiker Brewing Company. We
didn't get a chance to go there on the trail, but during interviews we went to Georgia and we visited on the way through. We stopped at Franklin, North Carolina, and visited the Franklins, or Eddie, and got a chance to go to the brewery, and I did get a chance to have. I only had one beer. I had their IPA, which was good. I liked it, and the brewery is nice. And there's a banner there for the hikers to sign, and we got a chance to sign that. So there's another brewery to check out. There's a lot more on the trail. depending on how
not
quick
necessarily on the trail,
but that you can see depending on how much you
Yeah.
want to take time off and get off of the trail.
I think there's a lot of breweries in Asheville, North Carolina, but I think that's kind of a little further from the trail. Oh, we also went to, but they weren't really a brewery. You probably just got whatever beer there. The NOC, the
Nahatahalak Outdoor Center.
They had, I think it was just, you just ordered a
But I
craft
think
beer there.
I think they did have beers there.
I don't know you got a beer, but I don't know. I think it was just a
Okay, just a craft beer.
Yeah.
Shut up, Tone.
Just so you know, I was hurt very bad in a truck accident. Oh, go back.
Oh no, they're right up here.
And can barely walk anymore. So I use videos such as yours to get back on the trail. Thanks for sharing. That's cool.
Yes. I love doing the videos, and it's for reasons like that, because I know I get some positive feedback from just doing the videos and knowing that people enjoy them. I want to continue to do them, and it's for reasons like that. Yeah, so you're welcome, for sure.
Stretch recommends the Flying Mouse Brewery. He was there with us.
Yes, he was.
For your base pack weight, without food and water.
As for base weight, I think we were like 20 to 22 pounds or so. We were not ultralight hikers. At the beginning and at the end, our weight didn't change a whole lot throughout the hike. We didn't lose a lot of gear. It's not like we got shakedowns where we dumped a bunch of gear off like a lot of hikers do. We were pretty consistent throughout. I will always argue. Oh, you're gonna be able to check.
Yeah.
AT book. This is still great to look through, but I'm always one to argue that ultralight is great if that's something that you're really into. I don't knock people that do it, but weight in your pack is not a bad thing, and it's not going to stop you from doing it. Your body will get adjusted to what you put on your back. And if you want to have a pack that's 40 pounds, it may take you a little longer to adjust, but you will be able to adjust. There are people that are in the Army that are carrying 80-pound packs, and they train with them, and they can do it. So with that said, I think that the ultralight is a little bit silly, but it's a cool thing to do, but it's not, I guess, not necessary.
Well, here's the thing. When we checked into the Amicalola Falls State Park Lodge, the woman there told us about another guy who was starting the next day. His name was Ben, and he had hiked the trail 20 years before, and his pack was 15 pounds.
His trail name was ultralight.
Yes. When we weighed our packs at the beginning of the approach trail, Nate's pack weighed 38 pounds, and mine weighed 35 pounds. When we finished, there was probably a little bit less because that included our food and water for that day. Mm-hmm. And when we finished on Katahdin, we had 0 food left in our packs. You get really good at planning how much food you need for a day, so we were done with food. So our packs were technically less, but going into the 100-mile wilderness, they were probably even more than 35 and 38 pounds because we had a week's worth of food.
And we were eating a lot of food at that point in time. And here's another quick little thing to get in there. Sharon just mentioned how when we were done, we were out of food because we got so good at planning how much food we needed to get to a certain spot. That is not something that you figure out before you leave. That is something you figure out on the trail.
Because it changes also along the trail.
But anyway, more or less food.
The point about telling you about ultralight is that he didn't make it. He didn't make it out of Georgia. Mm-hmm. And we made it to Maine.
Aha. Next question.
So, I've also heard from a family member who hiked the PCT that his group was kicked out of an all-you-can-eat Mexican joint in Southern California. Did you ever run into problems with restaurants while eating in towns? They were all closed!
Oh, at the beginning, we got restaurants, a ton of them closed due to the weather because we were in the ice storm at the beginning of our trip last year. So that is a problem. Also, not every town on the AT is hiker-friendly. We were just talking about the Ming Gardens restaurant in Waynesboro. They have a spot where they will put you in the back, and that's where they put the stinky hikers. You'll see a lot of that. Talk to people in the town, talk to the people at the hostels, call people, talk to other people on the trail. You will find out the best places that are hiker friendly, that, and it changes from year to year. So asking us now may be different than, I'm telling you, everybody on the trail is more than happy to give you information, especially if, depending on when you're doing it, southbounders, because they were just there, and they'll be able to tell you updated information about, the best place to go. And especially hostels. When you stay at hostels, that person lives in that town and deals with hikers every hiker season and knows the places to go.
And I would say it might also vary the time of year, because there's a place called Gyp's Tavern, and I think it's in New Jersey. It's in New Jersey, that we went into no problem. They have hikers enter around the back so you can drop your packs down in their backyard before going in and ordering. But we had no problem there. But then, as an AppalachianTrials.com trail blogger, I get messages, like group messages, and there were people there who said that Gyp's Tavern was actually like kicking hikers out and didn't want hikers to be there at all. I mean, we might have been some of the first hikers that went through and actually stopped there, so maybe that's why.
I would say
maybe someone did something in between. I don't know, but
the height of the season is probably worse too. Once they get that flood of the bubble coming through, they may be a little bit less accepting of hikers, because there are some people out there that kind of ruin it for everybody else. And that place tried to cater to hikers. Yeah, go around back, and the hikers weren't actually allowed at the bar. You could go in and order, but you had to go back outside. It's on the place, and for the most part, if you ask some people, they'll tell you the right places to go. Next question.
Our Canadian friend says, sorry about the typo thingy. Okay. It would be cool to change your accents to Canadian and have you say "eh" all the time, eh? Also, I will time my PCT with your JMT and surprise you all with a skeleton face mask, eh? LOL.
Yes! Hey, I'll keep everybody up to date on the John Muir Trail. And also, I think it would be fun to, if I end up doing like a speed hike through the notch, or even to do the "I see you at the side of my face," or even to do the 4-state challenge. I think it would be cool to keep everybody up to date and plan it, and then have people come along. We'll get a group to do the 4-state challenge or something. That would be fun.
There were a lot of people from Pennsylvania.
Flying Mouse Brewery, yeah.
And Dartmouth. They helped us out with the name there. I'm originally from Connecticut, and I know how the gnats and mosquitoes are truly annoying. How did you cope? We used
mosquito nets,
and we also used 100% DEET.
Yep, bug spray and mosquito nets. Depends on your tolerance for them.
Yeah.
I would also suggest covering. Cover your skin. Wear a wicking long sleeve that's lightweight so that you are covered. They'll They'll bite through it, but it gives you a little bit of protection.
Well, and I mean, definitely in the mornings, but when there were times when we were walking through the gnats and stuff in a tank top.
Yeah. The main part they're gonna bother is your face. Mosquito net and mosquito nets cure it. I mean, they absolutely do. You wear a mosquito net around your face. Oh, how about what was her name? Chugging Train. The lady that had the mosquito suit. Yeah, I know who you're
talking about. There was a woman who had an entire mosquito suit.
It was funny. If I can find the picture and somehow put it, it was something about caboose or trail or train cut out twice in a row. Irritating me, computer. So we will try to figure out her name and maybe insert a picture into this if we can for like when we upload the video. But she had a full mosquito suit. But like I said, the worst part is on your face and rubbing.
Hopefully. Her name was Little Engine. She had an entire
mosquito suit,
which was cool.
But yes, I would say absolutely 100% mosquito net for your face. You may look goofy, but it is so worth it.
Or if you're like lucky, you just have a really thick skin and like they don't bother you because you smell like an old man or something.
Yeah, or you're a weirdo.
Wow, 35 pounds for Sharon seems heavy for such a small lady. I'm not that small. I'm 5'9".
Yeah, and that was those weights fluctuated. The one nice thing out again, I don't know what I'm going to do. Poop. That is something nice for people that are hiking with a partner, and that is that you can share weight. We used food and water as the way of distributing the weight so that I would carry a little bit more or less. We were able to kind of go back and forth.
I usually had to carry all of the food and water.
This is not true.
Adrian, our Canadian friend, says,
I
received a knee injury 2 years ago, and was getting to be a top-tier runner, so I was super excited, to find your videos with Gator and find new goals to do, Thanks for showing me something new to do, That I never considered before, eh? That's funny. How did you deal with annoying people on the trail? Did you ditch them like Nolte and Redford in the movie A Walk in the Woods? Yeah.
You will avoid
You walk
people.
faster or slower, but we kind of sometimes chose faster because it's easier to walk faster than annoying people, because the people who are annoying are the ones that are partying and stuff like that.
Yeah, and this is another thing for people that are considering just staying in shelters. That's where a lot of those people are going to congregate. So having a tent or having a way of camping on your own is going to be crucial for people like us that were there for the hike and not there for the party. We were able to avoid people by just camping somewhere else. So that's going to be very helpful for people. There are going to be some people out there that you don't want to associate with, and some people that are just a little bit kooky. And in that case, you can avoid them by going past the shelter a mile and stealth camping. So yes, there were some people, and it's not as difficult to avoid, but there are going to be some situations that you're going to have to kind of change your plans, I guess. Yeah. Next.
I would say though that the characters in A Walk in the Woods might have been some of the people we found annoying, because they would have been like complaining and throwing their stuff off the edges of mountains, and that's not cool. Leave no trace.
This is true.
What were your average miles in Georgia, North Carolina, and Tennessee? In Georgia, probably about 3.3, in all honesty, because the first 5 days we did 8-mile days, so our average would have been 8. And then the next 5 days we did 0-mile days, because we were in a town of Hiawassee.
We're not averaging in 0 days. That doesn't make sense.
I know.
I would say 10 to 15.
Yeah, so when we started the trail, the first 5 days, we did 8-mile days. I mean, maybe
and we had to
7.8
hold ourselves
and maybe
back to do that, because
we
we wanted to do more, but we knew that you don't need to start out slow. And when we started to bump those miles up and into Tennessee, the Tennessee Turnpike's where I got shin splints. So, and we were starting to bump up to 15 to 20 miles at that point. So between Georgia to Tennessee, we'd work from the 10 to try to get towards the 20, and that may have been a little too fast.
Yeah, so we did the first 5 days at 8-mile days, and then we were off the trail for about a week, and then we did maybe 8-mile days, and we actually bumped it up, because a few days after we got back on the trail, we did a 15-mile day, and that was like the most we'd done at that time. And then between like Hiawassee, Georgia, I can't remember the gap that you could like get off to get there, but it would have been like, I think it's called Blue Mountain Shelter. Between there and like Franklin, North Carolina, we were averaging like 12 miles a day. Mm-hmm. I think to get into Franklin, we did like 16. That was another big day for us then.
At that point, it was.
And then we did about 15-mile average to the NOC, and then 15 miles still to the Smokies. Through the Smokies, we probably did 12 to 15 miles a day.
Or closer, pushing 15, I think.
And then when we got out of the Smokies, I think we did like 2 17 or 18-mile days, because we pushed it to Hot Springs in 2 days, and I think that was like either 34 or 36 miles. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. And then
that's when the shin splints started kicking in.
Yeah, and then so when we were leaving Tennessee is when we tried to do 2 25-mile days in a row, and that did not work out. So less than 20 throughout all of those states, more likely 15, like 10 through Georgia, maybe 12 through North Carolina, and then getting into 15 when we got closer to Virginia.
And the miles come. The miles will come later on. I would suggest for everybody to, and mainly they're going to come for other people faster and for others slower. Sharon didn't have a problem. It was actually me that had a problem at the beginning with like the shin splints and stuff. So, and that's, again, listening to your body and knowing when you should slow down. I pushed it too far, and I took a complete zero. There was one day I just could not walk. I just couldn't do it. We tried doing those 2 25-mile days, and towards the end of the trail, if I would have jumped on there, 25 miles would have been nothing. Mm-hmm. But at that point, it was too much.
Yeah, towards the end of the trail, I probably could have done the 40-mile stretch like Orange Crush did.
And this is true.
Go back up.
Okay.
Was the trail a moving party, or are those people mostly partying and not hiking, aka are they yellow blazing? So we started early enough that we didn't really get partiers at all, actually.
Yeah,
there were day hikers and weekenders who would like party a little bit, but we didn't meet any of like the thru-hiker partiers.
And this goes for anybody getting ready to start. We started February 10th. If you want to start in between February and March, you are going to between February and March 1st, you are going to have some weather issues most likely, but you are going to miss the bubble and at least be ahead of the bubble. Now you're going to get caught up too by some faster hikers possibly.
But if they're faster, they're not partying.
Exactly. So that's a suggestion to people that are not interested in that. You might need a little bit of different gear for the colder temperatures, but that'll help you miss the bubble. We didn't experience much of the bubble. It wasn't until the end of the hike where we got kind of the Sobo bubble, and really wasn't too bad. I believe those people don't stick around too long. You're going to get the occasional one throughout because sometimes they yellow blaze and they'll skip ahead. And then you'll get the occasional weekend warriors and such. And like I said, they congregate around the shelters. So if you want to avoid them, being able to stealth camp is your weapon against that. Pretty good answer.
Yeah.
I think I covered it.
But from what we heard from some of the people who did catch up to us at the beginning, it is a little bit of a, I don't know if I'd call it a moving party more than just like a moving crowd of people. A
lot of people.
Like Bruin, who started in March, told us that his first night on the trail there were 50 people on top of Springer. Yeah. At the Springer Mountain Shelter.
That's crazy.
When we started, we were the only ones
people
there.
We didn't see a human for like a week.
Yeah.
But that's just a different hike, you know. Some people thrive and like that, and they like that community. Some people are out there for that. And your time to start is, you know, middle of March to middle of April. You know, that stretch in there. April 1st is like your biggest day, biggest start day. So that if you want the bubble, there you go. If you don't want it, start before when it's cold, or start after and hike fast because
or
you
do
need
a
to
flip-flop or Sobo.
Yeah, flip-flop, Sobo, those are some other ways of getting around it too, but they're getting more popular as well. So dealing with what the other what that group won't deal with, and that's the cold temperatures, is one way around it.
My wife and I have enjoyed all of your AT videos. You have helped me a lot with my thru-hike planning. Would love to see y'all when I come through PA. Ever thought of being trail angels,
I have a idea about that,
Except for the fact that we don't know where we're going to be next year. There are places where we could be, where it would be awesome and we could do lots of trail magic, like if we're in Georgia, an hour away from Springer, or if we're in Reading, Pennsylvania, which is like an hour away from the trail in PA, or even if we're in West Virginia, where we're still like 4 hours away. But we don't know where we're going to be. We could be in Buffalo.
Trail magic is something that
in Philadelphia.
Shut up, phone.
I'm getting a phone call.
Not from you. Can take it, but I say you could call her back.
I will. Give me a second. Excuse me,
Trail magic is something that I am super excited about. There's nothing better than getting trail magic as a thru hiker, and I imagine the feeling of giving trail magic is got to be just as good. And I actually wanted to start a little video series where we could just kind of, as a community, talk about trail magic, and maybe people could bring videos of trail magic they've had, or me as well. Like, we just got a little bit of trail magic the other day. Lucky and his wife sent us a baby. Yeah, you might not think of that as like the traditional trail magic, but that would never have happened without the Appalachian Trail. So the trail magic happens in a lot of different ways, and I think a video series on trail magic would be great. And because I'm kind of a dork, growing up I learned a lot of card tricks, a lot of magic tricks. I was into the whole magic thing for a while, and I think it'd be hilarious to do to get onto the trail and do trail magic and do card tricks to thru hikers on the trail, and bring, you know, other trail magic too. But just to have that, I think it would just be really funny. So as far as trail magic goes, I definitely plan some. Whether we'll be able to do it here or there, and we don't know. Our residency applications span from Georgia to Buffalo, New York. So we don't know where we're going to be, but definitely want to try to do a little trail magic. And maybe I'll be able to do some while I'm doing trail work in April. So that'd be cool. That would be cool too. So
that's true, because we're gonna be like 4 hours from the trail until the beginning of June. So we were in Pennsylvania at the end of April. Food for thought.
Food. Food.
PCT, question mark, question mark, question mark. Are we gonna do it?
Back to the baby thing. Actually, and here, you want to hear my life goal? Life goal. I will be a triple crowner before I die. number one was hiking the AT with my beautiful wife, and success, done. Number two is hiking a long trail with one of my children. I want this guy in here.
Or
if
girl.
you hear me, or girl. Anyways, but I think that would be really cool to hike a trail with one of my kids. And then number three, and this is all due to you, Lucky, is the fact that Lucky hiked a long trail at the age of 73. And while I was hiking with Lucky, I told him, I said, that's pretty good, but I will outdo you. So I have plans at the age of 74 to hike another trail. So these are
most likely the PCT, because that's
the potentially maybe the easiest. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, so that's my crazy idea of how it would happen. But as far as like any of the longer trails, we're starting a family. It doesn't seem to fit in right now, which is okay. But I still want to get out there on the trails and do things, whether it be trail magic or shorter trails like the long trail in Vermont and stuff like that. So as far as the PCT goes, maybe a little while. I would definitely like join people for sections. That would be awesome. But as for a through hike, might not happen right now. I just skipped too much. Right?
Mm-hmm.
How far? Oh, right here.
Do you have names for the triplets?
What triplets? For the triplets would be Appalachian, and then Crest and Divide. No.
He's weird.
We're not having triplets. We're having one baby.
Right now.
Yes, for now.
I'm hoping to start the AT on March 1st in 2017 or 18.
Do it.
A.
Absolutely. I would say not hoping, say that you're going to do it. Yeah. I always told myself that someday I was going to hike it. It took me a long time. It took me like 16 years to actually get on the trail from the day that I decided I was going to do it when I was like 15. So yeah, you can always say that you're going to do it, but just know that you're eventually going to do it. And I would say if you've got the ability, just schedule it, do it.
This one's for you.
Slacker.
Did you check out Highlander 58 prep videos yet? A. This is a good example for those planning to see what this guy is doing and all the things he found out about his gear that he changed, eh?
Okay, so Highlander 58. I haven't had a chance to check out the videos, but it sounds like it's a good source of information, eh?
I like his next one.
Okay.
Solution for your video problem is move to Canada, eh?
Eh?
We should.
We should. I've never been to Canada.
He's weird. I have. The fall.
I'm waiting for it to cut out. Waiting. I think we're okay. Seems stable.
Section hike the AT with your kids, or any through hike with your kids, or section hiking, sure. Through hiking is going to be hard for the next 4 years, but I guess it would be with children who are under 4 years old anyway.
There was a kid that just hiked the AT at the age of 5, they say.
Buddy backpacker.
Did y'all hike with Gator Miller? Absolutely hiked with Gator Miller. We actually
quickly pulled away from him.
We actually met Gator before the trail, and
via YouTube
videos and such, and then we met up with him at Blue Mountain Shelter and hiked with him throughout the Smokies, and we parted ways up at was it Hot Springs. He kind of pulled ahead, and then he was ahead of us the whole time. We tried catching him a bunch of times, but it never ended up happening. And since I've been in contact with Gator, he's thrown an idea at me. I told him I wanted to do the long trail. I guess I don't know if I should tell you or not, but they're rolling around an idea of a winter hike of the long trail. I hope I'm not spoiling something.
Which would need to be done soon.
Not this year. It'd be next year.
Okay.
And he asked me if I was interested in that. So that's something that's on the radar as well. I don't know. I dealt with the cold starting the AT so early. I'm not a huge fan. And a winter hike of the long trail is more cold and more snow and more dangerous. So I don't know. We'll have to think about that. But yeah, Gator, great guy. He's just like his videos. Imagine him the way he is on his videos, and that is Gator Miller. He is just that person.
So you don't really have to imagine.
You don't have to imagine. You've seen it.
My 20-something daughter is hiking with me, Sharon. Any advice for her?
Yeah?
Have fun. That's awesome that you're doing it with your father. Female specific advice, especially young female specific advice. Well, it's going to be different for her. She'll have the same advantage I had, is that you have a male companion with you, and whereas there were some sketchy males on the trail that like kind of stalked so while there were single females on the trail who might have been bothered by some other people, I never was, because I always had Nathan by my side. So that's great for her. And then on the other hand, you know, you wouldn't have to be worried if she wanted to go alone, or if you guys weren't going to be hiking with each other throughout the day, because, you know, I'm sure she's a strong woman and she'll just ignore the person or whatever. No one got hurt or anything by none of the other female hikers.
And it's, I don't know exactly what all you said, but it is great that you're doing it together. Like we did, being able to like share gear and share equipment. And she's going to, I don't know her personally, but I think that having that extra person there is always going to help.
Yeah.
And the one thing I will say is that we did experience a father-daughter pair, we won't name any names, and there was a little bit of the daughter wanting to kind of go off and have her own hike. So like Tadpole and Why Not at the beginning, they planned on hiking together, and if they would have continued to hike together, neither of them would have made it. They
Tadpole
actually...
and Why Not?
Didn't I say Tadpole and Why Not?
Yeah, I'm just saying this wasn't the father-daughter.
And I'm not saying it's the same situation, but it's something to consider talking about now if it happens that your hikes are going completely different directions. What will you do? Will you actually split up? They split up, they both finished, and they both had great hikes, but it's just the way it worked out that they weren't compatible to hike together. Also to talk about, are you going to hike, you know, together during the day? Sharon and I hiked together the whole time, and it may be hard for people to do that. Yo-Yo and Tweed, a couple other hikers that we hiked with, hiked separate throughout the day, and they only met up and camped together every single night. So a couple things to consider.
Another piece of advice, something that will also depend on your daughter's personality. When you are doing the inevitable through hiking, hitchhiking, send her out.
Yes, and hide. Hide while the female gets the ride.
Which I am kind of too shy to do, believe it or not. I would always have him beside me, which is probably why we weren't very successful.
Hitchhiking.
Except for Miss Isla, who saved us. Any other specific advice? I mean, I don't think so.
We actually thought about, and we're going to consider it, we've thought about doing a tips for the trail or tips from the trail, kind of more woman specific, and have Sharon do it for some of those more specific female questions, and I don't think we're going to do them, you know, right now.
Yeah.
But or you can actually ask these questions. Give us a message on
cryptically, I will say you can live your life exactly as you live it these days.
On the trail.
On the trail.
But if you want to know a little bit more, thu-hikers on our Facebook page, /thu-hikers, ask some questions there. We can do a little bit more personal information there. If she has any more female-specific questions, she can just ask us.
Because I'm just not sure when we'll get around to doing that video.
Okay.
As there was a hiker mom, who has been section hiking the AT for the past 3 years. When she started, her kids were 4, 6, and 8.
Wow.
So I guess
it is possible.
That could be us in 8 years.
Okay.
Stay away from the bubble. Well, yes. Stay away from the bubble, eh?
Yes.
Were trail dropouts common, and any surprise for you guys? So, the people who we met on the trail who didn't finish it, Ultralight, who was an older gentleman and kind of just...
75? Wasn't he 75? 65.
Yeah, I think he was 65 because he was the one who had done the trail 20 years earlier. I think his reasoning for doing it was a little bit different this time around. He had some
death in the family and stuff. So
that wasn't too surprising that he decided not to move on after we got stuck in Hiawassee for a week. There were some young kids who started out way too quickly. We only passed them once while we were all staying in Franklin, North Carolina, walking down the street. We never really met them.
And that was an injury quit there.
Yeah, because they started out too quickly.
But really, when we started, there was a limited amount of people that started so early. When we actually went back through it at the end, a lot of the people, or most, I would say 90-95% of the people that we really met and hiked with finished. So we didn't see a lot of the dropout because we weren't with the bubble. We hear the dropout rates are insane around Neil Gap, and as soon as you finish, Georgia and Top of Georgia Hostel. So, but we didn't really experience that because the hikers that started as early as we did were very devoted to finishing and really set on it and not out for just kind of like a joyride. We were out to hike the AT.
There was one hiker, Nemo, who didn't finish due to lack of funds.
Yeah. But it wasn't for lack of trying. And he also had some family issues, got off the trail, got hit by a car.
While he was off trail.
Had some hip issues after getting run over. So he had some pretty good reasons. And if you guys have looked at some of my earlier videos, there's a guy with a sword. That's attrition. And
he was Nemo's partner.
Nemo's in, I think, one of the videos as well.
Nemo's hiking partner.
Yes, be specific there. But attrition, as far as we know, is still hiking. He finished the AT and went directly to a winter through hike of the North Country Trail, which is 4,600 miles.
100 miles in this year.
So I don't know for sure if he's still out there on the trail, but that's kind of interesting.
I gotta go. Thanks. This was fun. Congrats. Be safe. See you next time. A.
Bye bye.
That wasn't our Canadian
Skater.
Friend, but I like to say A.
A. We are.
Chris Hughes. Are you guys still on right now live? I am just tuning in. We are live. It's 1:30.
We are live, but I again apologize for all the cutting out. There is something going on with the internet. We've had a lot of better success before with these live Q&As. Today there is something going on. We are continuously cutting out. I am sorry. We try to get back to the questions as soon as we can. If we cut out, wait. We will tell you guys when we are ready to quit. So again, we apologize. If you can't take the cutting out, type in some questions and then tune in when I upload the video this evening, and we're gonna make sure we get to all the questions in the chat thing, unless we just run out of time. So again, apologize for the internet and the cutty-outy stuff.
Benning Beard 714. Sharon, do you have a sister around the ages between 35 to 40? LOL, eh? You cracked me up. Cheers, guys. I do have an older sister, but not in that age group. She
is married.
Yeah. She's only 29.
Damn spell check. That's not a question.
Here's my hiking bucket list handicap sign. Not sure how that got in there. A? Dobson Trail. International AT northbound. Fundy Trail. Day Hike Katahdin.
Do that.
International AT to Quebec, maybe?
Yeah.
AT, PCT, CDT.
Okay.
2022. Nate won't be 74 yet.
So you'll have to wait. Quick question for you. What is that? That's your list now. What are your accomplishments so far? Because do you know that you really like hiking? Because it looks like you really like hiking.
Look. Cycle the TC, Triple Crown maybe, 2028 senior citizen discount in 2030.
No, I don't think it's Triple
Nothing.
Crown.
Oh, so he hasn't hiked anything, eh?
Really? Oh yeah, running and cycling. I think.
Oh, cycle. Okay, so cycle. Okay, gotcha. So you know Clara Hughes, not personally, like we do.
Hey.
That's cool though. It's great to have that like dream out there.
Do all of them. My suggestion: do every single one of them and do them more than once. I tell you, you'll never regret trying any of those things. And if I wouldn't have just kept it in my mind that I was going to do it, people dream a lot and never do. If you just keep saying, "Yeah, I'm going to do it," you'll get to them. And if you do, it's so worth it to even try. Shut up.
I wasn't saying anything.
Okay.
Unlike you. How much does it cost to hike the AT? It might have been answered earlier, but I'm a broke college student. I am a person with $200,000 plus in debt, and I hiked the AT.
Yeah. You can do it a lot cheaper. I'll give you the rundown. The basic concept people use is like, I'm dumb. Is like a couple dollars, $2 a mile, and it's 2,000 miles, so $4,000. If you want to be comfortable and not have a worry in the world, if you have $5,000, you can hike the AT and never worry.
Easy. I would say we probably spent $5,000 combined. Now that doesn't necessarily include gear, which we got a lot of gear as gifts.
We had 2 Christmases while planning.
Yeah. We started planning in November, and we didn't start until 18 months later, so we had 2 Christmases.
But we took that $2 a mile and stretched it down to about 75 cents a mile for the 2 of us. You can really stretch money on the AT.
Cheap. You know, you buy the Raymond, if there's 2 gas stations, those are your only 2 resupplies, you compare prices before buying. I mean, seriously, it can be done.
The hardest part
is...
And
if you go at the right time of year, the hiker boxes will be full, so you can kind of, like, get a
scam
lot of
gear
food.
and food.
Yeah.
But another big issue
homeless.
is hotels are expensive and hostels are expensive, and you never have to stay in either of them because you're carrying a tent.
Or a hammock.
Or a hammock or whatever, or stay in shelters. If you want, you can do it a lot. It depends on how much you want it. Your experience will definitely be different than the person that's going to the hostels all the time. And I guarantee you there's going to be that pull. You're going to meet up with some fantastic and awesome people that are going to be staying at a hostel and getting pizza and beer, and you're going to want to do that. So it's going to be really hard.
You can still do that, though, because we did that, and we still didn't spend that much money.
You just have to... There's going to be people that are going to do it every town they come to. They're going to get off.
And they're going to get off for several days in a row.
Yeah. So it depends on how dedicated you are. It doesn't cost that much if you really make it cheap.
Another optional thing on the trail that can cost money, laundry. Don't do laundry.
This is true.
Kidding.
Okay.
If you did want to stay in town, were the hotels available, or did you have to have an advance reservation? For the most part, everything was available. There was the one time when we were coming out of the Shenandoahs that we could have like hiked 3 more miles into town and stayed in a hostel for the night, but everything was full. I think it was like a Friday night. It was good weather, and there were a lot of day hikers out in the Shenandoahs. So maybe that's why. And that was the only.
And another thing, we don't know at the hiker bubble. You know, we don't know at the height of the season what everything's like. But with technology, you've got for the most part, depending on your plan, you got cell phone service a lot anyways.
Yeah.
There's some spots that you don't. Check ahead. 2 days before, get a call, get a reservation. It's not that hard. Or talk to other people along the trail, guidebooks. I mean, you're going to be able to find out if you really do need to stay in a town and need to plan ahead, you can do it.
And a little bit less so in the hostels, but like for hotels, I mean, really, you can shove, you know, if you're hiking with a group of hikers and there's 1 hotel room left, you can shove 10 hikers in a hotel room. They don't have to know. And it makes it cost a little bit less. And it's sometimes that's a fun experience. Sometimes it's not, depending on personal choices, the group you're with and what you feel like at the time.
I was going to say, one thing that we did was we actually went hotels over hostels. Less hotels. You can get more hostels. You can stay at a lot of hostels because they're only $10, $15, $20 depending. Hotel room's going to cost you a lot more.
But when there was a hostel that was $20 a person and there was a hotel room that was $40, we'd take the hotel room.
But we would just stay in them less often because there is something to be said about you want that time off the trail to relax. And it's a lot more relaxing instead of being in a hostel, unless you're really a social person, instead of being in a hostel with a bunch of other people running around with a group shower, and when you could be in a hotel where you're laying out of bed and you can take 2 showers if you want, and you just have that.
And you can do your laundry in the tub and hang it around the room.
Yeah, we did that.
So Adrian says to Kyle, I would suggest you research your gear. Yeah, that's the one who asked about the hotels, hostels.
Oh, cool. I didn't catch
Anyway,
names.
Good point here by our Canadian friend A. He says, research, look for deals. We bought gear on sale because I'm a bargain hunter.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's
you also
why your pack didn't last.
You also don't have to have. This is funny because you just said that. You don't have to have top of the line gear.
You can have a pack that takes you halfway and you have to buy another one.
No, but I mean, like, for our leggings, like, I just took leggings that I already had.
I will say that right now.
We had wicking shirts from Walmart. Like, that's
exactly.
fine.
You don't need to go out there when it comes to, like, your base layers and buy $100 base layers. You can buy the base layers from Walmart. You can, those things do work. There's some of that gear we bought. One of the best pairs of gloves that we had were the 50-cent gloves that you can just put on, because if they rip, you replace them. If they get wet, you wring them out. They're easy to dry compared to some of the other options, and you can buy them just about anywhere, and they're super, super cheap. We bought some more expensive gloves that fell apart anyways. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the cheaper stuff is better. And
you're ruining everything you take on the trail. Not everything.
Not everything, but you are going to beat up a lot of your equipment.
Yeah.
Where are we at?
If you could make one state on the trail disappear off the map, which one and why? First of all, I wouldn't want to make any state disappear off the map. But if you forced me to...
Because a lot of people would be gone.
But if you forced me to... I was thinking about this while you were talking about the last one. I guess I would say Maryland because it's the shortest state. And there's not really anything in Maryland.
It's like 4 miles.
I think it's 12 miles. Or maybe that's
West Virginia
is 12 miles. Maryland's 40.
It's 4 miles.
40, yeah. So I guess I would say... Oh, but then West Virginia, that's Harper's Ferry.
No. I think the question is like, which one was the hardest state and you'd want to make it disappear? Pennsylvania is definitely rocky. If you're prepared for it and slow down, it can be a beautiful state, and it can be a lot of fun. A lot of like rocky ridges and stuff. So PA can be good if you take it and slow down through it. Your feet are gonna hurt. Your feet already hurt. Who really cares at that point? And you also, like at the beginning of this, I talked about having goals. If you set yourself high goals through Pennsylvania and you push and push and push, you're gonna make it miserable.
I guess terrain-wise, I would say New York. I mean, people might be like, oh, New Hampshire, take out the whites. New York was still worse for me. Maybe it's because we were just down, like that's when we hit like the Virginia Blues was in New York.
Our mental rock bottom was New York.
Yeah.
In New York, if you look at your guidebook, if you guys probably already have guidebooks and you're looking at them now, getting all ready, New York is flat, but it's because they can't zoom in enough. New York is flat for a mile, and then you go down 30 feet and you go up 30 feet, and then you go a little bit farther and you go down and up. It's a lot of ups and downs that are not seen on the in the guidebook. Are you looking at a page of New York?
Yeah, the guidebook actually says...
Oh, yeah, it does. It says it in there.
It says, like...
While she looks, I'm going to look at the next...
Even though this section appears flat, it's really not. It actually says that in the guidebook.
Yes. It warns you in the guidebook about New York being that way.
Oh, here... Is this it? No, that's in New Jersey.
See, all your thu-hikers videos up to the 2nd Vermont. Okay, you can't see... this is... Russ Parks asks about the thu-hikers videos. You can't see them because they're not out yet. I know, and this may be frustrating for a lot of people. He found it. Read it.
Well, it says, despite the unimposing profile, rocks, abrupt up and downs make this section challenging. And that's around mile 1367.4.
And the problem with this for us was we had just got out of, PA and New Jersey, and we're looking to up our miles before we got and make up some time before we got to New Hampshire, and we started setting some higher goals, and we couldn't meet them, and mentally it beat us up. Onto the thu-hikers videos. I know some people are kind of bummed out because they're not all there. It's because I enjoy making them. I like to take my time, and this is my way of keeping on the trail. We look back through the videos. Sharon's doing it with her blogs, going kind of slow too, because we're off the trail. We don't get to see it and be able to look back at the videos and how much fun we had. I'm using it for memories, and I'm taking my time putting them out there. Do not fret. They will all come out. I've got some pretty exciting news or pretty exciting videos in mind for like New Hampshire because of how crazy hard it got, and the final video, I've been rolling it through my mind for a year. I know kind of what I want to do, so they will get finished, but they're going to be kind of slow. So there you have it.
By the way, Slacker, remember I told you before that Sharon is a better half, so be nice to her and she will
slap you, eh?
Our college student friend, Kyle Hansen, says, I have all my gear already since I'm an avid backpacker, so at least that's one less cost. That's
Absolutely.
True. I live in North Carolina. What's the best section in the southern states? You know, when we went down to Georgia to do residency interviews and we stopped with Eddie, we hiked up to Waya Waya Bald. Is that what we hiked up to?
That sounds right. Waya Bald?
Yeah, Waya Bald. Yeah, it was Waya Waya Shelter on Waya Bald. I don't know why there was double there. But, and I just remember, I mean, like, the feelings of starting the trail came back to me because that was when we were starting the trail and we were only 100 miles in at that point. So it was interesting because after we finished the trail, what was mainly on my mind was the end of the trail and how crazy, you know, the whites and the 100-mile wilderness and all that stuff.
We have to talk about the 100-mile.
Yeah,
oh.
But the south is awesome too, and to pick one section of the trail, that's mean and hard.
Well, no, the southern section. I will say and I don't know how, you said you're North Carolina, right?
Yeah.
How far you are from the border into Virginia, but that's quite a ways up into Virginia. My favorite section of the trail, if I had to go back and do another one, for a short section, is to do the what was the name of the cliffs? Tinker Cliffs.
Yeah, like McAfee Knob, Tinker Cliffs, Dragon's Tooth, McAfee Knob, Tinker Cliffs.
But I'm sorry, that's it's a southern section, but it's not depending on how close it is. That section through there is just awesome. That would definitely be. Where's the spot that we went over with Lucky? It's right in between North Carolina and Tennessee. We were on the ridge. It's burning something.
It's fire or something.
Fire bald? No, I just said bald. That's not right.
Let me think of what else was going on, and I'll get back to you. That was that the day before? I think it was the day before Lucky had to get off the trail, so it would be in like March 12th. Let me
She's got every day written down. It's actually a lot of fun. Or best section that would prepare me for the whole trail. If you want prepared for the trail, no, you can't be prepared for the whole trail.
big Fire Scald Knob.
Fire Scald Knob. It's just it's exposed and it's really beautiful. For that,
was around like Jerry's Cabin Shelter. It would have been a little bit south of Urban, Tennessee. Let's see here.
To prepare for the AT, you're going to have to do a lot of that on the trail, and there's nothing that's going to prepare you for New Hampshire and Maine in the White Mountains down south. You cannot prepare for it. Georgia's going to be your closest for the up and downs, but it does not have the rocks and the steep cliffs, and it is not the same. Preparation is going to happen as you hike. As it goes is how you're going to prepare for the AT. Just continue to hike and continue to hike miles and to adjust your pack and how things feel. And I don't know, maybe try some longer days, longer miles, and see how they affect you. Terrain-wise, it's going to change so much. You're just going to have to adapt as you go. But like you can see how much a long stretch affects you and how it does affect you like the next day. And to know where your boundaries are, because when you're doing the thru hike, you don't want to push your boundaries too hard, and because injury is like top of the list why people end up having to quit.
Go up a little bit. Did you skip a question?
I don't think I did. Because she said best to prepare me for the whole trail.
Go up. How much detail do I really need? Yeah. What book am I looking at? Oh, first of all, what book am I looking at? The AT Guide.
You want 2016. Yeah,
it's AWOL's Guide. AWOL. And I think it's like the ATGuide.com or something like that. The ATGuide.com.
There's two of them out there. This is the one we used. We don't have a comparison for the other one because we never used it. We've heard good things about both. You need a guidebook. Well, you probably should take a guidebook. The AT Guide's got a digital version. You can put it on your phone. You don't have to carry that. We carried ours. Some people ripped out pages as they went.
They got lots of signatures and stamps and stuff. But so anyway, the big Fire Scald Knob is like only 20 miles north of Hot Springs, 40 miles south of Irwin. that area is the area Nate said would be fun to hike again.
Okay, how much detail?
How much detail do I really need to put into planning my miles?
None. Absolutely zero. Do not plan a single mile, except for if you're like us at the beginning, plan to hold yourself back to allow your body to develop. Don't plan on trying to do big miles at the beginning. We planned on 8 miles a day at the beginning because it was to hold ourselves back. Why not? And Tadpole had a detailed plan of how many miles every day. They redid that schedule like 3 times and then eventually threw it out the window because you can't do it.
Yeah. So
Maybe some people can,
before we got on the trail, we had planned our first 5 days, and they were averaging 8-mile days. We planned until we get to Neil Gap. So including the approach trail, 40 miles. And then we just kind of...
a good way of putting it, though. Other than that, the next week, you can plan while you're hiking the first week. You have a lot of time to think while you're hiking.
Exactly. That's what I was
Plan week to week on the trail. So if you want to plan before the trail, plan the first week and stop there. What do you do?
I was trying to cross one eye, which I can do.
Am I doing it? I don't know.
No. What was the biggest surprise or most unexpected thing on the trail?
You got one.
A surprise foot massage?
Oh.
A proposal?
I asked you to marry me on the trail. That should have been a surprise. You didn't see it coming.
Yeah, but that's not something like everyone can expect.
There was, when we found out that Red Feather was an Olympian.
Yeah.
That was kind of a surprise at the end. Biggest surprise? I don't know. I'm sure it's different.
I guess it was, but it was kind of like the mental challenge was surprising for us because we knew we were going to hike the trail, and we knew that we were going to start on Springer Mountain. Well, start at the approach trail, and end
because that's part of the trail. You should do the approach trail. It's pretty. It's beautiful. There's no reason not to do the approach trail. And
end on Katahdin. Like that, there was never a doubt in our minds. But whenever we would get, like, I remember in Vermont one day, we were just hiking and talking about how we could break our legs and we'd be done and no one would blame us. And it was just the part where mentally we were just finished. It was, we had already been hiking for 140 days. We knew we had at least 2 weeks left. It was hard. It was hot. It was buggy. And it just, not that it got old.
Yeah, I think the trail...
I think it felt like it got old on the trail.
The trail is long enough that it will become about finishing and not about doing it. No. It'll get to the point it becomes about finishing. And you should expect that from the beginning. To know that eventually it may not be fun anymore, and it may just be you are hiking every day just to finish because that's what you set out to do.
And I don't think there was ever a day where, like, we didn't have fun today. But there were definitely moments within the days where, we could be laughing and then just stop talking as we're hiking down the trail. And for a mile, neither of us has said anything. And then we just get in our heads and we think, oh, we have to do this all day long for the next month and a half. Or, oh, we have to do this for the next...
And that's where having somebody to hike with really helps. And also just and other hiking partners in general. I will say... my videos, or our videos that I put up on YouTube, are not a good demonstration, not a demonstration, but not a representation of the trail in difficulty-wise. We play to the camera. We tried to have fun. We tried to make the videos fun to watch. And there are some other videos that are not included that show a little bit of the harder side. And I don't want to... I'm not trying to disguise it. I just wanted to make the videos inspiring and not... more
but like I was saying, I don't think there was ever really like a whole day where we were like, oh, this is awful. I think it kind of waxed and waned throughout the day, and that didn't start happening until New York, and then above New York and north.
All right, so we've got that one.
What was the biggest surprise or the most unexpected thing? And then go down. I bet the biggest surprise was in the first videos when Gator snuck up on them, eh? The second surprise was catching Lucky. Am I right, eh? You two should put the Burning Man on your bucket list. Oh, wait. We skipped part of one question. I'll go back to it. You should put Burning Man on your bucket list. The Burning Man Festival.
We're looking. We're not sure what the Burning Man Festival is. If you guys... it sounds so familiar. Gator snuck up on us more than once. So that's just the one that's on video. He was just so much fun to hike with. I wish we could have hiked more together. And then hiking with Lucky the whole time was great too. So, but we have to skip back to another question. Did Sharon like the sounds from the trail? Question mark, quotes and A and all that stuff.
Did Sharon like the sounds from the trail? What's the sounds from the trail? Like, it seems like, was it a podcast I started listening to?
Elaborate on that question. Sounds from the trail. You should do the Burning Man.
I'm serious. What do you do if you have mud butt? Like, if you fall in the mud?
No. That's really sweaty.
That's swamp.
Yeah, mud butt, swamp, ass. There's two things you can. I'll beep that out in the video.
I think you can put like powder on it. We didn't really.
I did. I am not shy. I actually used what was that foot powder?
Like Gold Bond powder.
Gold Bond powder to dry areas out, even your feet at night and stuff like that. It's going to happen. Another thing, and I'm not sure for everybody, for me as a guy, your legs rub together. I wore
fat thighs.
No hips.
Kidding.
No hips, guys.
Who's your thigh gap?
So I wore, instead of, I took some shorts, some underwear. They were called, what were they called? Officio boxers.
Oh yeah, ex officio.
They're nice because they're smooth and they go together well, but they kind of stretch out. Yeah, I eventually,
the kind he got weren't like tight around his legs, so they
were at the beginning,
so would,
but
like,
bunch up. But I eventually went to, and this would be my suggestion for a lot of people, and it works towards this question as well. Going to straight up like spandex. What do they call them?
Like almost like cycling shorts, but without the padding.
Exactly.
Like biking shorts.
Very, very tight. I would do a
compression shorts.
Compression shorts, yes. And I would do like a longer pair. You don't even have to wear any pants at that point. You can just wear them.
But you can wear shorts over them if you were comfortable with them.
Exactly. I wore. They breathe really well, and they help manage the moisture and stuff like that. And like I said, since they fit so tight and you can pull them up, they give you like it keeps from the rubbing in your thighs and stuff like that. And it really helped me. I actually wore that pair every single day. We had to sew them multiple times as they fell apart.
I had to sew them multiple times.
Sharon sewed them for me multiple times. But yeah, definitely, if that's something that you're concerned with, it is an issue. And you can use, like I said, some powder to help kind of dry your body out, or prepare for it a different way. By wearing those shorts and being able to keep everything kind of dry is the best way to do it.
Hiker 58 did his prep hikes on the AT to give him a good idea. Lucky did some on the AT, so that was good. Yeah. It's good if you live close enough.
Yes, we actually never stepped foot on the AT until we started.
So it was like all a surprise and new and fun.
Yes.
I hear there are a lot of Germans on the trail. Did you meet any of us, eh?
Yes, we did.
What would a German accent be? Say, did we meet any of us in a German? Did you meet any?
Try again.
There's like no, like.
I'm trying to think.
Like Germans are like Wilhelm and like, don't you know? And there's like none of that in there. Did you meet any of us? I don't know.
We're going to leave it at that.
Did you meet any of us? Yes. Mother Nature in between. A mother-son pair, interestingly, for the watcher who's doing the trail with his daughter. It was a mother-son pair who did the trail, and they had a lot of fun. They were a lot of fun. We've received postcards from them since.
Yeah, Mother Nature and Between. Mother Nature, obviously she was the mother, and Between was in between a high school and college. So
or university.
University, as they would say, yeah. And he, shut up, phone. And they were a great group. And I don't think we met a lady from Iceland at one point, and then we met a Sobo right off of
Katahdin.
Yeah. Where was she from?
I don't think she was from Germany.
I think she was from Germany.
Maybe she was from Germany.
But we just saw her like, hey, how's it going? There she goes, went right by. Yeah. So, but yeah, we did get to meet at least Mother Nature in between. And Also, earlier in the stream, we were talking with Stretch. Stretch is from Israel, so there is a lot of different people that come from all over the world to hike this hike. So it's really cool to meet just different people, and just you get to learn so much about other cultures and stuff. Like Stretch had no idea what a Pop-Tart was. He loves Pop-Tarts now.
Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tart. Okay, we're gonna get into the next one.
Go up. Go up. Go up. Oh, okay. Have to log off now, eh? I really loved your videos and all the awesome comments. Well done to both of you, and thank you for showing me the trail and wanting to do it.
You're welcome, eh?
What was your favorite state to hike through? Well, for me, and it's for different reasons. I mean, for nothing necessarily to do with the trail, but that we're from Pennsylvania. Look at my mail drop blog post. It talks about how through like Northern Virginia all the way through almost Connecticut, we didn't have to get a mail drop. I would say, I guess the point I'm trying to make is from Northern Virginia through the end of Pennsylvania, we did not have to pay for a place to sleep indoors at all because we had so many friends and family. So that was really cool that when we got closer to home, we had so many people who wanted to take us in for the night or wanted to come visit us. And that was just fun and able to share our hiking with them.
For me, it's a toss-up between Maine and New Hampshire anymore, the way I think about it. It's changed over time. As it's been longer since we've been on the trail, my feelings have changed. New Hampshire was by far the hardest physical state, but it was just strikingly beautiful. The views in Franconia Ridge and just so beautiful. And because it was so hard, it was so rewarding. And then Maine, because it was the 100-mile wilderness. And this is actually to cover Isla's question. Isla Dunbar, we met her on the trail too. She met us in Maine. She actually...
Isla...
Hold on. Wait for it. It's going to cut out again, the stupid stinking thing.
Isla picked us up off the side of the road just like serendipitously.
As she jumped out of the car screaming, "It's too Katahdin!" But she knew who we were, which was really cool. But she asked us, she couldn't be here for the stream, she asked us a question, and this fits right along with the state question about what was our favorite. She asked to explain and to talk about the 100-mile wilderness. And
actually, she said that she was trying to convince her husband to do the 100-mile wilderness. And if we could please explain how magnificent it is. Because it's not, people think, like she said her husband thinks it's just a muddy, rooty mess full of mosquitoes and bugs. I will say it was rooty, it was not muddy, it was mosquito-y, it was beautiful. You have all these lakes to just take a dip in. You have these rivers that you have to ford.
Except for big giant leeches in the lakes. But.
Yeah. I would actually more take a dip in like the brooks, like the things that are actually moving.
Even though they're really, really cold, it'll make you feel awesome.
Yeah, but if you're doing it in the summer.
Okay. But the 100-mile wilderness for Nobos is it's your
awesome.
reward. It's your reward for everything that you've done.
It's a red carpet.
Right.
It
because
really
you've
is.
went through New Hampshire is more difficult, and yeah, there's a ton of mud in Vermont and New Hampshire and roots. The trail is not easy.
In the beginning of Maine.
In the beginning of Maine. So when you get there,
the 100-mile wilderness had some of the best I will say landscaping, because it wasn't even like trail maintenance. It was like someone took a lawnmower on top of a mountain and mowed the trail.
So it is not as difficult as people make it out to be. For Sobos, on the other hand, it's the first they've seen. So a lot of, from a Sobo's perspective, it is more difficult. But as far as somebody doing it at the end of their thru hike going Nobo, it is an amazing experience because it's summing up this journey that you've just been on. And like I said, the 100-mile wilderness is one of my favorite parts of the trip. It's easy at that point. You've done it. The 100-mile wilderness, you've done it. You don't have to hike I mean, the mountains are not as. I
mean, there are mountains, but it's like on top of not really, but I mean, you can see Katahdin. It's very measurable at that point. You know you have 4 days left of your hike or 5 days left of your hike, and it's a joyride. The 100-mile wilderness is like a joyride.
I loved it, and yeah. So that covers that. We're going to try to get through some more of these comments.
Burning Man is a week-long creative festival in the desert of Nevada, Black Rock Desert. It is fun. Have been there 2010 and totally recommend it. And then for the German accent, do your Arnold Schwarzenegger accent.
No.
That was awful.
You have to say more than one word, I feel.
I'll work it in.
Okay. Well,
Get out there. It's not for you.
Go down.
No. I want to answer the question.
We'll go down. We can't see any
sorry.
more questions. When you asked for a suggestion for naming your channel, I thought words from your song would be great. You know, like, can you smell my feet? Or sounds from the trail.
Sounds from the
Gotcha.
trail. That's what I
You
now
went
I
with
remember the
Between the
comment.
Blazes.
Yeah, for some reason Between the Blazes just seems to work really well because I am going to do some other things on the channel as well. And not just hiking. So it's, you know, the hiking adventures on the trail and then whatever happens between the blazes, the last blaze on the trail to the first blaze on the next trail. So I think it really sounds cool and I like it.
I leave for my flip-flop hike in 100 days. Any tips for things I should be doing besides my cardio preparation?
Wait for it.
Breaking in your shoes is a good one. I didn't think about that. Another thing, like, you could do lunges and stuff if you wanted to because...
Yeah, I think over
like you're climbing
cardio,
up the mountain.
stair steppers is going to be a
Yeah.
good one too. If you're starting with the
Flip-flop.
southbound, starting with
No, so she's going to go north and then south.
Okay. Yeah. Anything cardio is important, but you'll get that on the trail. That's going to happen naturally. So
I would say, like, especially if you're doing flip-flop, you're going to be starting in Virginia where it's a little bit flatter. So you'll probably be able to start with 10 or 15 mile days. Just make sure that you can do 10 or 15 miles on the type of terrain you'll be like,
But
not
you're
like
gonna
on
want-
super flat, but also
you're going to want to break in some shoes, have them ready, and
Yeah.
then just also test gear, find out what works, and just get on the trail. Adjust your pack so it works well, and just kind of go through those finer tweaking. But doing a flip flop, I think you do get gently
it's
brought
more
into the
gentle,
trail.
yeah,
So it
yeah.
because even Nobos, Georgia's not easy.
Right.
So yeah, there you have that.
I love To Walk in the Woods by Bryson, but I heard the movie was absolutely beep. Did you guys see it? We haven't seen it. We also heard the movie was no good. Lucky actually wrote a newspaper article on how the movie was no good. And, yeah. Kinda stinks.
Also with the
movie Wild.
The Wild.
We watched Wild.
From an actual thru-hiker standpoint, these movies may be entertaining, but they don't represent thru-hiking or hikers. They don't do a good job of that. So when it comes down to it, you're going to have, after hiking a thru-hike, you're going to have a different outlook on things. And when you see a movie like Wild, that was a lot more about her life and, spoiler alert, like her dealing with drugs and stuff like that, it doesn't do a good representation of the trail itself and through hiking. It does show you some of the things that the trail does, but I also think it gives a false notion to people about the trail fixing problems. And the trails, they're not out there to fix problems. I think people that go to the trail with the idea that it's going to fix things. We met a man named Sir Pax-a-Lot.
He runs Top of Georgia Hostel.
He runs Top of Georgia Hostel. He had a tragedy in his life, and his first time hiking the AT was to get over that. And he said he got back from his thru hike, and it was still there. Yeah. He still had to deal with it. The trails are not a good way of doing that. And I think that's what, the Wild kind of is showing people, that the trails help with these things. And I don't promote that myself.
Yeah.
I think that we have caught up with questions.
I don't know. Go down.
That's it.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay. I apologize, first off, for the stream, and hopefully I can put this video together in a way that it's easy for people to watch back through and try to get the information out. It's been really hard for us with the internet the way it's been. And again, I'm sorry. I tried all morning to try to get it to figure out why it was doing that, and I couldn't figure it out.
We fixed it.
But thanks, everybody, for joining us. It has been a lot of fun. We still plan on doing more of these. Good luck to all of you guys out there that are ready to crush the Appalachian Trail.
Crush the trail.
Crush the trail.
And, yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and we will see you later on down the trail. Thanks much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. And remember, keep it between the blazes.
Bye-bye.